Hello, little witchlings and princelings, and welcome to your weekly Coven Summoning. My name is Ilsa.
And my name is Stacy.
And we're Caffeine and Conjuring,
a fantasy bookish podcast where we will discuss some of our favorite fantasy reads.
Spoiler warning, if you haven't already, make sure that you've read and completed all the books in Throne of Glass, leading up to and including Queen of Shadows, so nothing gets spoiled for you, because we talk about anything and everything in those books.
Mm-hmm.
So we ended off last episode, and if you missed it, the last few chapters for the last episode were videotaped and are on our YouTube channel, not our normal Spotify episodes.
Yeah, we were being different.
So you can go check that out. But we did end off, the King of Ardalan is dead. Dorian is back. And we know that Erwin is alive. And it's also Duke Parrington. So yay.
Because he wasn't bad enough as just the Duke.
Right?
Now we have to learn that he is literally the worst of the worst.
Yep, so magic is back. My baby is free. Aelin is pissed. And we're going to switch over to Morath for the beginning of Chapter 80. And we're starting underground. Elated has been locked up for so long in the dungeons of Morath that she's lost all track of time, days bleeding into each other. She's starving, scared, and spiraling. The mind games are brutal, irregular meals, no sunlight, no answers. It's kind of the psychological warfare that's designed to break someone down until they're willing to do anything for the taste of freedom. And then Vernon enters. He's got that special brand of villainous smugness, casually dropping the news, now that magic has returned. ... Elad's Iron Teeth bloodline might hold more than we thought. Vernon wants to see what magic might wake up in her veins, and he's brought a little science experiment buddy to help with that. Cormac is red-haired and unnaturally beautiful, horrifically still and wearing a wordstone collar. We're dealing with another Valg-possessed demon nightmare, and Vernon is just giddy to gift a lead into his care after experimenting on breeding her. Gross, traumatizing. Cormac literally exudes darkness, and his powers awaken Elad's worst memories. Vernon tells him to leash his powers, or she'll be no fun tomorrow. They leave, and cue Elad's running to the door, sobbing and screaming for anyone to help her, but no one comes.
Poor baby.
Manon's back from her trip to Rifthold, and all she wants is a bath and to sleep for days. Don't we all? But the second she steps into her room, she senses something is wrong. Elad's scent is stale, the fire's cold, and the bed hasn't been slept in days. And y'all, she snaps. She launches into a furious sprint. She's a force of vengeance, tearing through the keep like a blood-scented hurricane. She reaches the kitchens and interrogates the cook, who says he hasn't seen her in days, and perhaps she's with the laundresses. Manon then gouges the head laundress's face for insulting Elad, but as she's running to look for Elad, a human woman calls to her and tells her they know where Elad is locked up. They know Elad is locked up down in the dungeons. She says they were trying to think of a way to help Elad, and then she thanks Manon. Manon races off to the 13, because this isn't a one-witch mission. This is about to become a Coven-level rescue op. First, she just has to find out which of the 3 dungeons Elad is kept in. Ooh, she's mad.
Oh my goodness, I love that though. Her, instant, as soon as she sniffed out that something wasn't right now. She couldn't smell Elad as well. She just booked it. Chapter 81. So we already know that Elad has been through hell and back, But this chapter starts with a whole new level of horror. She's dragged out of her cell by stone-faced women who scrub her raw and dress her in nothing but a thin green robe. A literal sacrificial robe. Nothing underneath, no dignity, no answers. She begs and they ignore her. She tries to flee and they shove her back. And then come the guards, 4 of them. Their job is to deliver her to the Valg prince. They drag her from the cell. She fights. The robe opens. They leer. It's just this whole thing. And in the moment of pure stomach-turning violation, enter Manon Blackbeak. She found her. Oh, and then just bloodbath. And I love it. So here for it. So before the guards could even process what's happening, Manon tears through them like a vengeful god of blood and fury. We're talking iron nails through the throat, spine-ripping, head-crushing fury. And through all that violence, she doesn't even flinch. She sees what was done to Elated, how she was dragged, exposed, terrified, and in her signature deadpan voice just says, "You're already dead men." Ah! And then she makes it true. We flash back a bit. We switch over to Manon's point of view now, and we learn like the point leading up to when she gets to Elated. So after the news broke that Aelin destroyed the king of Ardalan, shattered his castle, crowned Dorian king, the keep just turned into complete chaos. But Manon, she ran, not away, but straight to the 13. She ordered them to saddle up the wyverns and led the bloodiest game of Let's Find a Lead ever played. They tore through the 3 dungeons, leaving nothing but carnage in their wake, and Manon didn't stop. Not when the prisoners were begging for death, not when blood soaked the halls, not when a woman's voice whispered, "Faster, Blackbeak," in her mind. And that voice was like literal divine intervention, a goddess helping Manon race against the clock. After the slaughter, Manon breaks Elate's chains, hauls her up, and says, "We're going to have to battle our way out." But Elite, who can barely stand, stares wide-eyed at the doorway, because standing there, her dress flowing around her like liquid night, was Kaltain.
Yes.
Ooh, what a way to end a chapter. I'm so glad we didn't have to end like an episode on that.
Oh, I know. So right into chapter 82, the chapter opens with Kaltain meeting Manon and Elated in the dungeon hallway just as the guards were closing in on all sides. She is calm, collected, and very clearly not under the Duke's control anymore. She has been free from her demon collar for a while, and she has got a plan.
I love that part when Manon like asked her, how long since you destroyed the demon or something like that, and Kaltain was just like, a while. I love that part.
Yeah. So they do a body swap. Elated hands over her robe, Kaltain hands over her black dress. With blood smeared on her face and her posture slumped just right, Kaltain transforms into a near double of Elated. Vernon's "you could be sisters" comment now hits like major foreshadowing. Kaltain asks Manon for a dagger and slices open her own arm because, oh yeah, she's been hiding a piece of the word key inside her body. You know, just casual things.
I mean, that's where I hold mine as well.
She wraps it in a piece of Selena's old cloak, the one she's been holding on to all this time, and tells Elated to find Selena, give it to no one else, and remind her of the promise she made to punish them all. Oh, chef's kiss. So good.
I love how there's so many things that are like callbacks to other things from other books. Like now we're getting this callback to that cloak that Selena gave Kaltain in the dungeons.
Yeah.
That's just I love the way that these books all fit together like a puzzle.
And side note, just because we're talking about Sarah's writing, the big news that's been today and yesterday. You must have seen it, right?
Yes. I did.
Yeah, Sarah J. Maas posted her book, and it says Actar 6 with an arrow, and it said the draft is complete.
And of course, there's a lot of theorists out there who are looking at the picture and saying, "Oh, that's not an arrow. That says 6 to 8."
No, it's an arrow.
And then another person, yeah. And then other people are saying, "And she says drafts, not with an apostrophe. So that means there's multiple drafts. Does that mean there's more than one book? And I'm just like, just stop theorizing everything. And then talking about, like, the color of her ring. Like, there's just so much that, like, people are picking apart from the picture. But the main thing is that the draft or multiple drafts of the book 6 is done.
And that kind of ties in because she has this down my TikTok hole that I went down when this all happened. But with her deal with Bloomsbury, I believe it is, or Barnes & Noble, one of them, I could be getting them mixed up. So their general timeline for promotion to book release is 6 months. They've been casually throwing some Ektar-related stuff. There's merch for the first time. There's these giant books showing up. Now the drafts have been revealed that it's done. So, like I said, it's like normally like a 6-month promotional period, and her contract with them was X amount of books by X date. And I think the date was like March 2026. So we can probably expect an actual announcement with the promotions to start within the months of July and August. Most likely.
Okay.
Keep my fingers crossed. I'd just be on a Delulu train, but...
I like that train. I will be on that train with you.
Well, enough of that little side note. Back to Manon and Elated. They are running while Kaltain walks straight into her final act. Kaltain is taken down into the catacombs without anyone realizing she's not Elated. She's chained to a table, surrounded by guards, and then she smiles. She sees the red-haired demon prince, Cormac, and annihilates everyone in the room with real, unfiltered, apocalyptic shadow fire. And she does not stop there. She melts the walls, walks into the breeding chambers where witches and women have been imprisoned and violated, and she burns it all down. The monsters, the cradles, the Valg, the demon princes. She frees the Yellowlegs witches, and they accept flame with gratitude. Then, with a smile on her face and fire licking every inch of her broken body, Kaltain brings the entire foundation of Morath crashing down around them and dies in flames. What a sacrifice. What a character arc for her.
Yeah.
Like, just like a complete 180. Meanwhile, Manon is in a full sprint, carrying a lead up through the keep, dodging collapsing stone and gouts of flame, the 13 covering their retreat. She throws a lead on Abraxos, mounts up, and they launch into the sky just as Morath explodes behind them. Everything is fire, ash, and ruin. Elated is safe, the 13 are airborne, and a third of Morath is gone.
There needs to be more of it gone.
Yeah.
Man, I feel like these 10 chapters, like, just bang, bang, bang.
Yeah.
So chapter 83, Aelin sleeps for 3 whole days. And honestly, I think she earned it. Rowan never leaves her side, trying to patch up his own injuries while keeping the castle from imploding emotionally and politically. Aedion has taken command, locking down what's left of the royal staff and trying to organize something resembling order. Chaol's alive thanks to the Eye of Elena mysteriously appearing in his pocket. Wonder who planted that. Dorian's still out cold, but breathing. And Aelin, well, she gets carried bridal style to her old bedroom in the stone castle while literally sobbing in Rowan's arms. She, once again, she has literally been through hell. And Lysandra, the icon that she is, guards the door like a very polite, blood-soaked bouncer, and then proceeds to vomit black blood all over Lorcan when he tries to get in. Twice. It's gross, it's glorious, it's personal. And Lorcan, the ever-brooding jerk, tries to justify walking Rowan into the trap, doesn't fly, tensions flare, and eventually Lorcan slinks away, covered in gore and shame. Classic. So meanwhile, Rowan is healing Aelin literally and emotionally. She's been sealed around shards of glass, and he's carefully trying to remove them bit by bit, and her tattoo is in ribbons. He mentions wanting to fix it up when she's better. But then she wakes up, and literally her first words, "I saved the world, and yet I wake up to you being pissy." And if that doesn't sum her up in one line, I don't know what does. So they go through a little review, a little roll call. She asks about everybody. So Dorian's alive, Kael's alive, Rowan still sexy and annoyed, Aelin hurting, sarcastic, and suddenly overwhelmed with the magnitude of what just happened. She tells Rowan everything, and Rowan tells her everything. They swap information about what happened. So she tells him about the king's confession, the truth about Erewhon. It even said, like, there's no tears. It's just raw truth. And when she has to pee, bless the realism, Rowan laughs, tries to help her, and she nearly decks him. So, romance.
Yeah.
But the real moment is when they curl up together afterwards, and she finally lets herself be held. He tells her that after centuries of wandering, he realizes that he's been searching for all along, and that was her.
Oh.
And then we get the kiss. It's not just a kiss, the kiss.
Oh.
Slow, reverent, aching, with the promise of everything still to come. And then the quote, as if they had all the time in the world. Why does she give us this quote so often?
Like, right in the heart.
I don't need to be reminded. Oh, because she said that before about Sam,
Yeah.
and then they never had all the time in the world. So it gives me a bad feeling. Gives me a really bad feeling. It's like she curses her characters. Anyways, and just as we're all melting into a puddle of feelings, Aedion walks in to deliver a message, and Rowan uses a gust of wind to slam the door in his face. Point made. Go find your own slow burn romance, General. Outside the room, Lysandra is watching, and she's misty-eyed and whispers the softest, most hopeful line. That is what I'm going to find one day. Oh, cue me sobbing into a pillow. And then I love Aedion's little quip then, like, and he says, what, a gorgeous fae warrior? And Lysandra chuckled, wiping away her tears, and gave him a knowing look before walking away. And then we wrap up with Aelin getting ready to face Dorian. The golden ring is gone. Lorcan swiped it, obviously. But Aelin had the last laugh. She only wished she could see his face when he realizes the amulet of Orinth was a fake. What a girl boss.
Yeah.
Rowan waits at the end of the hallway, being her silent sentinel. She rolls her eyes at his overprotectiveness, but thinks about how far they almost went before he gallantly stopped because she needed to heal more. She opens the door to Dorian's room with a quiet, steady, "Hello, Dorian."
So chapter 84, Dorian wakes up in a room he doesn't know, but he does know one thing. He is free. No collar, no demon prince whispering death in his ear. Just sunlight, birdsong, and silence. Peace. And in the absence of pain, he feels something far worse. Nothing. The hollowness is staggering. He goes through the motions, bathing, dressing, existing. Aedion's running security now. Huh. Kael is still unconscious, and Dorian can't even begin to unpack the weight of everything he's done. Especially because most of it exists only as shards of a memory. Shards that could cut too deep if he ever really tried to piece them together. Aelin enters, looking every inch the queen she is. Rumpled boots, loose hair, subtle menace in her posture. Dorian tries to joke about being kept in a gilded cage, but she shuts that down fast. You're the king of Ardalan now, and whew, you can almost feel the crown drop onto his head like an anvil. He questions everything, whether he deserves to rule, whether what his father said in those final moments was true, whether he was the one who really ended his father's life. Aelin doesn't sugarcoat it, but she does offer something stronger than comfort. Truth. You're my friend, Dorian. He asks what he's supposed to do now, and she gives him a line that belongs in the Hall of Famous Final Words. You light up the darkness. Ugh.
Ah.
Hello, tattoo idea.
Yeah.
If I get an SJ Mass tattoo, it's going to be the lettering for Rundan and Crown Prince of the Valbaran Fae. But that is a close contender.
That could be second.
And just when your heart's stitching itself back together, bam! We switch to Kale's POV, and he opens his eyes and wonders if he's in the afterworld. Spoiler, he's not. But that realization hits second because sitting beside him is none other than Dorian. Kale sees his friend alive, whole, uncollared, and promptly bursts into tears. Us too, my guy. Us too. Dorian throws himself at his side, overwhelmed and wrecked and real, and when Kale finally gathers the strength to move, he realizes he can't feel his legs. Stacy goes cold. He just needs a leg up in life, Stace.
The poor guy.
Too soon?
Ah, yes.
Rowan did what he could, healing 2 of the spinal breaks to avoid total paralysis, but the lower injury is beyond his ability. The only option... Now, we listened to these chapters in audiobook, and we found out that we were saying this completely wrong, even though most of the time we were calling it sesame seed. We were calling it the Torre Sesame. Now, I do believe, if I remember correctly from the audiobooks, it was Torchesme? Already gone.
To be honest, I'm not even sure. I was too busy laughing at it still reminding me of Sesame Seeds.
Torchesme. It's still gonna be Sesame Seed. This is the last time we're saying it properly because it's gonna be gone forever.
Mm-hmm.
So, Kale, ever the martyr, insists on staying. Dorian is not having it. You're going. You're the king's hand now. I need you. Oh, okay.
Crying
Stacey's
again.
crying again. And then, just as the emotional dam is straining to hold back the tears, Nestrin walks in. Regal, radiant, in her crimson uniform, and so clearly relieved to see Kale alive that she can barely speak. She's the first female in the King's Guard, newly appointed by Dorian himself, and somehow she still manages to act like Kale is the only person in the room. The moment is beautiful and fragile and broken and sweet. He jokes, because of course he does, that he technically didn't walk out of the castle. And she just breaks. Tears, real raw tears, and laughter from me, because I'm good with the dark humor. She makes him a promise right there on the floor. We'll fix this. I will take you to the sesame seed. We will heal you. He takes her hand. Let's have an adventure, Nestrin Phalik. Oh, fuck. Here we go. All the bad words are coming out today. All the bad pronunciations.
Yes, Nestrin Phalik.
Goddamn. Let's have an adventure, Nestrin Phalik.
Okay. Chapter 85, we are back with a lead, and she's flying north with the 13. She's wrapped in a grief-soaked silence. She's still wearing Kaltain's dress, still clutching that sliver of wordstone wrapped in the torn cloak, still unable to stop crying. By sunset, they land in Oakwald. Elated collapses into sleep, and when she wakes, there's a new set of clothes waiting. Leathers, boots, a fresh start, no chains. And still, That cloak scrap, the stone, the promise. She doesn't know who Selena Sardothian is, but she knows she has to find her. It's funny how, like, she is so eager to get to Aelin and has no clue who Selena is. So, like, once she figures out that, like, they're two in the same. Manon finds her at the stream, blood gone from her skin, but not from her memory. The wing leader's tone is curt as always, but her words land with weight. Don't waste your tears on her. She did it for herself. And maybe that's true, but that doesn't erase the sacrifice, the Shadowfire, the final blazing no to the monsters of Morath. Then Manon drops the next bomb. The king of Ardalan is dead. Aelin Galathinius shattered his glass castle. Elate's reaction is full body sobbing because for the first time in a very long time, the girl who's been trapped, shackled, silenced, and dismissed sees a horizon that's not made of iron bars. Terrasen, Aelin, Ren, Adian. Hope. But Manon isn't here to play shepherd. This is actually goodbye, a parting of ways. She tells Elide to head north, stick to the forest, stay hidden, and, in a rare, vulnerable moment, she removes Elide's chains for real this time, unlocks them, and removes them. Then, this line. When war comes, which it will if Parrington survived, you should hope you do not see me again, Elide Loughlin. But Elide's reply is a gut punch. All the same, I hope I do. Oh. And then Manon bows to her. Like, no smirk, no threat. A freaking bow. And with that, Elide steps into the woods alone, but not powerless. As she limps through Oakwald, her hand pressed to the pocket, holding that deadly little promise from Kaltain, she sends a prayer to Anieth and feels something, a warm, invisible touch on her brow. She straightens, she keeps walking, not away, not in fear, but toward her queen. Woo!
Again with something on the brow, like we went through this in the end of Throne of Glass and the beginning of Crown of Midnight.
Yep.
So chapter 86, Lysandra is overseeing the last of Aelin's clothes being brought in because we already know Aelin packs like a magically enhanced fashion hoarder. But let's be real, it's not about the outfits. It's about transition, moving forward, leaving behind the ghost of her assassin's apartment and claiming her queenly future. But Aelin's heart isn't in wardrobe management today. She's thinking about Dorian, still haunted, still reeling from all he endured. She can't leave him alone, not when she knows exactly how grief and guilt can chew someone up and spit them out as a shadow themselves. And then, a little plot twist, she pulls out a box. No, she's not proposing marriage to Lysandra. She is proposing something far more powerful and equally emotional. She's making Lysandra a lady.
A lady.
Aelin gives her land in the north, a small territory once held by the Allsbrook family, now branded with a coat of arms featuring ghost leopards, because of course, and a key symbolizing Lysandra's self-earned freedom. It's not just symbolic, it's monumental. There's no one else I'd want guarding my back. Ugh.
More sobbing.
Cue the sobbing. sobbing.
This whole, like, the last, 3 chapters are just, or 4 chapters. But also, it's funny because the coat of arms being the ghost leopards isn't because of Lysandra. It's just a coincidence because they've had issues with ghost leopards in the area. So that's why. So it's just is amazing connection. Coincidence, I guess.
Lysandra, she obviously protests. She doesn't think she deserves it. She worries no one will want to serve her. That the people of Terrasen will hate her. But Aelin, she's not having any of it. She says if her people can't see Lysandra's worth, if they can't recognize the woman who sold herself to protect a child, who fought without hesitation to defend their court, then they are not her people. And mic drop. Aelin even jokes about naming the land Lysandra Land. A missed opportunity, to be honest. And when and when she finally asks, "Will you accept?" Lysandra just throws herself into Aelin's arms. That's a yes, Your Honor. That night, Aelin's exhausted. All she wants is a bath, a nap, and maybe a cuddle with Rowan. Of course. But just as dinner wraps up, there's a knock on the door, and in walks Dorian. Still haunted, still hollow, but he's standing, showing up, and trying. He asks if they've eaten, unsure if he's welcome. Aelin, in true no-nonsense queen fashion, tells him to sit your ass down, like the regal menace she is. And here's where their full circle moment punches us all in the face. Earlier that morning, Dorian signed the decree that officially freed all the conquered kingdoms from Ardalan's rule. The tyrannical empire, gone, crushed. Nehemia's dream, fulfilled.
Ooh.
Ugh. We lost so much to get here, but we got here. Aelin introduces Dorian to Rowan and Lysandra, introduces them not just as members of her court, but as her family. Again, sobs.
Found family trope. All over the place in the series.
Yeah. Adian watches, stone-faced but feeling the weight of the moment. 10 years ago, they were kids, shattered, scattered, hiding and surviving. Now, they are rulers. They're building something new, together. To a new world, Aelin says. To freedom, Dorian answers. This chapter deserves its own seat at the table, y'all. It feels like the epilogue. We got to witness emotional healing, political shifts, and a chosen family solidifying right before our eyes. This is why we root for them, why we sob through their pain and cheer through their victories. But there's still 3 chapters left. It's not the end. War is still looming, the threads are still fraying. And not to mention the 3 books remaining.
Yeah.
But for this one brief moment, we're allowed to breathe.
Chapter 87. Just rip the band-aid off first. Morath still stands. Barely. We know that a third of it was obliterated by Kaltain's righteous blaze of vengeance. 2 covens were vaporized, along with guards, servants, and the apparent loss of a lead Locken. But we find out the Duke survived, and Vernon is still slinking around.
Yay.
I'm thrilled. So Manon listens to the Duke rant and roar about delays, losses, and rebuilding. His tantrum is the equivalent of someone who just got a scratch on their luxury war machine. He's frustrated but not deterred. Plans are still in motion. Once the witch towers are up and he finds a new source of Shadowfire, he wants Aelin Galathinius turned to dust. Manon plays her role well, calm, obedient, and cold, but inside, she's changing. When the meeting ends, Manon walks past Vernon, puts a lovely little iron-tipped hand on his shoulder, and in the most chef's kiss, passive-aggressive threat in the book, whispers, "Just because she is dead, Lord, do not think that I will forget what you tried to do to her." She can't kill him yet. Maybe Aelin might, but Manon is clearly rooting for it. Witch girl solidarity.
Hell yeah.
So later, Manon and Astrid take in their new Aerie, taken from a lesser coven, because yeah, hierarchy is still a thing, and talk turns to what's next. So we know that her grandmother's coming, the towers are coming, the war is coming. But the real moment here is Manon asking Astrid something raw and unexpected. What was it like to love? Astrid doesn't hesitate. She answers with honesty that cuts like a blade. It was like dying a little every day. It was like being alive, too. She speaks of the mortal man she loved and the witchling they lost. It's grief and joy all tangled together, immortalized in pain. But for once, there's no iron teeth motto, no obedience, discipline, brutality. It's just truth. And Manon doesn't argue. She doesn't correct. She doesn't try to drill that into Astrid. She doesn't try to discipline Astrid for her thinking this way. She just says things are changing. And Astrid answers, good, we're immortals. Things should change, and often, or they'll get boring. And then cue the mutual grinning and Manon smiling. Who gave her permission? We love to see it.
Oh, as much as I hate to leave Manon, chapter 88, we're back to Rowan, and he is pulling night watch duty in hawk form. Peak mate behavior. Aelin sneaks off for one last emotional rendezvous with Elena's tomb, only to find it buried in rubble. Sorry, Mort. Hope you're enjoying retirement in the afterlife.
Yeah.
Back in her room, Aelin finds Dorian and Kale, who is now using a wheelchair, and we get one of those heart punch moments of OG trio just being. No world-ending magic, no assassinations, just friends, firelight, and soft reflection. Aelin makes a big move. She officially names Kale the ambassador to the southern continent. She tells him to kiss royal ass for Terrace's survival, and he's like, cool, I'll try. He tosses her the Eye of Elena, which, let's not forget, saved his life in a glowing Hail Mary, and then quietly sits with the weight of what they survived. And then they hit us with a mic drop of emotional clarity. The end of the road, she says. No, Kale replies. The beginning of the next.
Still 3 books.
Fuck, still 3 books to this chapter.
Pretty much.
The next morning, the squad is packing up. There's playful chaos. Adian gets doused with water by a ghost leopard, but it's tinged with bittersweet vibes. Aelin visits Kale privately, shows him a ribbon of flame, her true magic, and leaves a rose of fire glowing on his nightstand. For Nesrin, the golden arrow that she got last Yulemas as a blessing of Deanna. Quiet, meaningful gestures to say goodbye without words. Then, the big send-off. Dorian and Aelin share a final moment in the courtyard. Their conversation is soft, vulnerable. 2 rulers, 2 survivors, 2 friends. She promises to always be there. He admits he wishes he could have told Sorsha how he felt. She assures him she already knew. They part as equals, no longer a prince and an assassin, but a king and queen. Then we switch to Dorian, restless and scarred by nightmares, wakes in the dead of the night. Something draws him to the balcony, and there she is. Our white-haired rider on a wyvern, perched on the glass wall, Manon fucking Blackbeak. They lock eyes. No words, no battle, no bloodshed, just recognition. Something unsaid, burning beneath the silence. He lifts his hand to her, and then she takes off again. A name echoed in his head. I wonder what the name was. Manon doesn't know why she came to Rifthold. Curiosity? Instinct? Fate? But the prince was there, no collar, no chains, just a boy who had lifted his hand like he remembered her. As Abraxos rises higher, wings slicing through the silence, the kingdom blurs below. She feels it. The winds are shifting. The world is changing. And maybe she is too. Perhaps a changing 13 too, and herself. She doesn't know what to make of it, not yet, but Manon hopes that they all survive it.
Ooh. Look at Manon being hopeful. Final chapter. We made it. Chapter 89. 3 weeks That's how long they are traveling north. No inns, no fanfare, just quiet return. Aelin, Rowan, Adian, Lysandra, Evangeline, and our trusty pup Fleetfoot make up the mismatched, magical little road trip crew. The whole time that they were, like, gearing up to leave, like, the last chapter and that, I was thinking to myself, like, Alid is coming to you. Alid, stop going places. Alid is coming to you. So now 3 weeks. I wonder what happened in that time frame for Alid.
I'm sure she's doing more than excellent.
Does she get a...
Gotta give him that hawk too and spit on that thing. You get me?
Okay. No spoilers for Alid. Okay, so we know that Aelin has a word key, is hidden in her saddlebag, and is shielded by magic. I know I know Rowan keeps, like, looking at it and then looking to her to, like, clarify that she's okay, and she just keeps, like, reassuring him that, yes, I'm okay. So throughout the journey, Lysandra spends the journey test driving her shapeshifter skills like it's her own personal montage. She's flying, she's prowling, she's pouncing on Adian for kicks. Evangeline handles the rough travel like a champ, curling up with Fleetfoot each night like something out of the coziest fairy tale. And of course, Rowan keeps making Aelin want to burst into flames, and not the magical kind. Every brush of his lips on her neck, every arm wrapped around her waist in the dark is becoming impossible to ignore. But privacy on this trip is non-existent, and Lysandra absolutely knows it and teases her. But underneath all the flirting, teasing, and sore muscles, there's peace. For Aelin, the assassin, the queen, the girl made of fire, these are some of the happiest weeks of her life. And then the land begins to change. The forest thickens, the air chills, the mountains loom closer, and Adian says it's just up this hill. And she's like, what is? Girl, what do you think is up over the hill? But she sees what he means when they get up over the hill, and it's just the wild, untamed beauty of Terrasen stretching out before her, the great Staghorn Mountains in the distance, and rivers are winding like silver threads, pine and snow in the wind. And suddenly she knows. Rowan smells like this place. He always has.
Ugh,
He smells like
he smells like home.
Oh, and I love what Rowan says. I don't think I have it here handy, but how he says that, like, Rowan came close enough to graze her shoulder and murmured, I feel as if I've been looking for this place my entire life. Oh, yep. So, anyways, Adian leads her over to the weathered boulder, which is marked with, like, whorls and swirls, and he says this is the border stone. Once we pass that rock, we're on Terrasen soil. Heart racing, eyes misting, Aelin steps forward. She places her hand on the sun-warmed granite, whispering a song of thanks to Mala Firebringer, and then she steps beyond the stone, and at long last, Aelin Ashriver Galathinius was home. That's the end of Queen of Shadows. Our fire-breathing bitch queen is home. My heart is ruined, but the series is absolutely legendary. I am so loving the entire journey. I'm terrified for the next ones.
This is where it ends, right? Like, nice, happy ending. Everyone's alive. Everyone's happy. This is it, right?
Yeah, we can leave it here, right? This is...
Yeah.
Okay.
Great spot to end the series.
Thank God.
Chef's kiss. 5-star series. I don't need to go through the emotional turmoil of the next 3 books again.
No, they don't exist.
For the 3rd time.
They don't exist. It's okay. Holy shit.
It hurts so bad.
So I have a relationship theory. Adian and Lysandra. She is so flirty. I mean, he's flirty with everybody, but she is like really picking on him. And I think they're going to be a thing. That's my theory. Crickets. But yeah. Oh my god, like what is happening? Where is it going? Okay, so Maeve is still somewhere over
Maven.
yeah. Parrington is dead set on
Erwin.
Yeah. Erwin is dead set on killing Aelin.
Yep.
Holy crap, what's gonna happen? You can't tell me.
I wish I could tell you. I wish I could give you a Spark Notes version instead of bringing you through this torture with me, but here we are.
Oh.
Just remember, you willingly agreed to do this. And you were warned many, many times of the emotional damage.
Yeah.
When you said earlier, like, and of course, as usual, she's been through hell, I'm just like, she ain't been through nothing yet, girl. Like, nothing yet.
How could it possibly be worse than everything she's already been through? What is wrong with Sarah? Who hurt you?
Oh, it gets so much worse.
Holy crap. So I'm going to die. Like, this series will end me. Fantastic.
Yeah.
So, next book, I'm assuming with Kale and Nesrin going to Sesame Seed. Is this when Irene is getting brought into it? The story? Fine, keep your secrets. But I don't know how has the pirate already been back into it? No? So he's coming to at some point. Okay, I'll stop asking questions.
And technically, the Sand Desert Girl was briefly brought back in Air of Fire.
I don't remember.
It was Manon talking about meeting someone on her travels, and it was Ansel.
Yeah.
Ansel. Manon had met Ansel on her journey. And that's why people say read Assassin's Blade before Air of Fire, not after Air of Fire, out of those two options. Because you do get that little flick to Ansel. Even though it's very hard to, like, pick up.
Oh.
So, we have one more episode, which is our review episode for Queen of Shadows.
And then we're done with the series.
Right.
That's it.
Right, that's it. That's it. No more. But yeah, so the review episode, and then we're on to our tandem read.
Oh, the big behemoth.
Which, yeah, kind of really looking forward to it, but also really dreading it at the same time.
Yeah. That's going to be a fun one to break up. Figure out what chapters for each episode, but
I'm going to put a little jar on my desk, and every time one of us calls Kale an idiot, I will put something in there.
Fun. Okay.
They will probably mostly come from me, because my inner foreshadowing knowledge will be like, idiot, idiot, idiot.
Yeah. See, to me, I still feel like I want his redemption, so.
Oh, I should have started this at the beginning of the series. Put $1 in every time I call Kale an idiot, and then by the end of the series, I can go buy books with that money.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure if we go back through our transcripts of our episodes and just do a like text search for idiot, because no doubt they're all about him.
Yeah. Well, anyways, I think I don't have anything else to say about this episode. I'll have lots to say in our review episode. Talk about some theories.
Mm-hmm.
We got one theory from you tonight. See if that holds up.
Oh boy.
I should have been writing your theories down like all along, just so I could go back and like, remember when you thought this, or remember when you thought that.
Remember when I thought Kale was endgame for Aelin? Well, Selena at the time. Oh, sweet summer child.
Well, until next time. Goodbye.
Toodles. And with that, our Coven summoning comes to a close. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button on Spotify or Apple Podcasts.
And follow Caffeine and Conjuring on Instagram and TikTok to stay up to date on our journey through Throne of Glass.
Witches brewing, kingdom